Hello everybody, welcome back to the Limit of Adhesion Season 2. This is round 5 of the championship. My name is Gareth and joining me as always in the commentary box is Jim and our driver analyst Will. How are you doing, guys?
Very well, very well. How are you?
Yeah, good, thanks.
Good, thanks, Jim.
So just a reminder as always that you can find out more about the league at the limitofadhesion.com website where there is news, analysis and reviews. Let's take a look at the Driver Championship then after our amazing race at the Nürburgring. Rob Miller now in the lead of the championship on 69 points ahead of Gavin Kelly on 64. Dave Lyne is now in third on 48 points. Then we've got James Garlick, Stephen Batty, Gareth Winslade, William Bibby, Gary Richards, Mark Tranter and Paul Dixon, Lawrence Aaron Jenkins, Gary Jones, Tony Hankin, Will Burnett and Luke Hollick in 15th place. Jim, take us through the Teams Championship, please.
Yeah, we've got a very strong teams lineup at the moment. Stupid Aguri extending it to 104 points. Little and Large have got 77. And the Williams team doing very well, 65, ahead of Keith Chegwin Memorial team, who's getting spearheaded by Dave Lyne, of course. Dirty Legends are in 5th with 42 points. Lucky Bibs got 21. And Verge of Grip, although they've had no drivers last round, have got 18. But they'll be looking for a strong performance this time. Japan is the first country that Limit of Adhesion is revisiting this season after Okayama in round 2. Suzuka needs no introduction and will see the drivers overtaking down the start-finish straight and into the first corner at the start and throughout the race. After navigating the S's, the hairpin and spoon, it's onto the ultra-fast left-hander of 130R. Some drivers took it flat out in practice, but they'll be brave to do so in the race. And after 130R is a hard braking zone of the Casio Triangle chicane. It's the last conventional place to overtake on this perfect example of a racetrack.
Thanks, Jim, and we're just coming to the end of qualifying now, and we'll be taking a look at the starting grid with Jim once again.
Well, after breaking his pole position duck last week, Miller has grabbed another with a 225.5, just 600ths ahead of Lyne. Kelly is the only Stupid Aguri this week in third, with the Williams of Garlick in P4 and a repeat of the top 4 qualifiers last week. Tranter returns and starts in 5th, with Bibby once again in 6th. Two drivers returning for only their second race this season are Burnett and Hankin in 7th and 8th. The second Williams of Richards leads row 5 with Aaron Jenkins alongside in 10th. Dixon is in 11th with Jones escaping the back row for the first time in 12th. Kimberley makes his Alpha Blobby debut in an unlucky for some 13th with Winslade at the back after failing to set a time. Hollick and Batty are not participating this week.
Thanks, Jim. Rumours are that Stephen Batty is meditating on top of a mountain after his upset at the ring. Here we are then on the grid. And we are ready. There's the lights going red. Engine starting to rise. Lights go green. We're racing at Suzuka, and it's a good start from Lyne and from Miller at the front. Look at Winslade there pulling to the inside straight off the line. It looks like he's gaining a place or two. As we come down to T1 then, Lyne was on the inside, but Miller chops him nicely and retains his lead. And now we've got Kelly with Tranter looking to the inside of him as they came through the second apex. And now we're into the S's for the first time. Good clean start, looks like, guys. What do you think?
Yeah, very well behaved from everybody, and Tranter getting the jump on Garlick. So Tranter's going to be looking right behind Kelly, as we can see, in Lyne, looking to get on the inside of Miller as well. So yeah, everyone's made it through the S's without any incident by the looks of it.
Yeah, we've got lots of pairs going on there. So we've got the Miller and Lyne pair, Kelly and Tranter going side by side now. And Bibby and Garlick are getting very close together a bit further back. So we'll come through the Degners now for the first time onto the hairpin. Just look like Miller got a little bit sideways there. And look at that, that's Bibby looking to the inside of Garlick further back. Lyne trying to attack into the hairpin. Miller's got it all covered. But Tranter around the outside of Kelly now, and a good strong drive off the corner. It looks like he's got the jump and he's up into third place. Will, that was a good clean move.
Yeah, it's a fantastic move again. Classic Tranter opportunity move there. Lap 1, he really is a shark. Gotta watch out for him. Yeah,
and we can see on the overlay here that Tony Hankin is in the pit, so presumably had some kind of contact off screen. Hopefully we'll get a replay of that later. So here's the top 4 now. They're coming out of Spoon Corner and they're on the run to 130R. And the order is Miller from Line, from Tranter, from Kelly. Then we've got Garlick, Bibby, Burnett, Richards, Winslade, Dixon, The Ledge, Gary Jones and Jim Kimberley in 13th place. Hankins still in the pits for repairs.
Tranter's having a terrific first lap, isn't he?
Yeah, big lock up there from Line. That's allowed Tranter probably can get a run on him as they go out of the chicane.
If Tranter makes this move on the outside as they come out, as he just about is as well, that's him overtaking 3 cars from 5th place on 1 lap. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's a great opening lap from him. Further back, looks like we've got Winslade and Dixon going side by side as they come down the long straight. And there's our leaders coming through turn 1. Miller from Tranter, from Line from Kelly. And that's Bibby. Bibby's had a spin, turn 1. Gets going again. And he's down to 12th place now. Let's see what he can do from there. Here's our top 4 in the S's. Miller from Tranter. Will, you're a driver analyst. Tell us about some of the challenges of Suzuka for the skips.
Well, a bit like in real life, Formula 1 drivers who like this place, there is no room to make a mistake. There is no run-up. It's grass, so as soon as you even nibble a bit of the grass, the skip barber will just depart on you and you'll be basically a passenger in the car. The hairpin is especially challenging. You can gain and lose a lot of time here. Oh, that is Gary Jones. Biffed the wall there, possibly after grabbing some grass. Yeah,
that's at Degner's, wasn't it? Degner 2 under the bridge. So again, we need a replay of that. And we're on board with Jim Kimberley in the Alpha Blobby. What a great return of the grid he's having. Nice to see him back. Now up to P12.
Yeah, Kimberley, of course, is right at the back as he's trying to get used to the skip barber, but he's also a bit hampered because he's not using a wheel. So in this sim racing, you can use whatever you want, but he's using a PS4 controller, which may explain that lack of pace.
Well, let's hope for some improvements as we get further into the season for him then. So here we are, back to our top 4 then, and Tranter looking like he's shaping up on Miller for P1. They come through 130R and approaching the chicane.
Will, you were mentioning earlier just the challenges. Now 130R is an absolutely fantastic corner, but would you expect the drivers to be taking it flat out? Certainly not at this early part of the race, I'd imagine.
I wouldn't say on lap 3, no. But yes, towards the later part of the race, the fuel is lower, the grip is higher. Yes, that's can flat out. Looking at the move on the inside here. Tranter lining it up late at the brake side for the inside, move to the outside, cover him off. Beautiful.
Mark Tranter up into P1 then as we come to the end of lap 2 on lap 3. And this is Will Burnett now we're looking at with the 2 Williams cars. Yeah, the 2 Williams cars are closing him down. That's James Garlick running ahead of Gary Richards, his teammate. And that's Winslade behind them, up to P8 now from 14th on the grid. We see Gary Jones is in the pits. So repairing after his Degner incident.
It's really close running there, these drivers. So Burnett defending. But Garlick, who is slipped back from 4th place, looking to try and get back into the top 4 running by getting past Burnett and then chasing down Kelly. But it's quite a gap emerged from the top 4 down to 5th place now. They seem to be in a league of their own.
Yeah, all 4 of them are just always displaying excellent skill at going very quickly on cold tyres, even in whatever car they're running. We see further down, William Bibby is recovering well from his spin earlier on. He's up to P9 again now, but a good 7 seconds off the back of Winslade. So we're looking at 5th to 8th place running at the moment. It's the verge of grip, the 2 Williams and a Dirty Legend.
It's almost a mirror of last week, isn't it? At the Nürburgring with the top 4 and then another subsequent 4 drivers in a battle just behind them, the midfield and the front runners.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, and we were seeing something similar at Silverstone as well. So maybe this is starting to form the pattern of our season. Top four all very, very close together. It looks like less than a second between them all. Is this Garlic lining up and move into the chicane on Burnett? No, not quite.
I think it's possibly worth pointing out as Garlic getting very close on Burnett now. I wonder where Stephen Batty would be if he had made it for this race.
Yeah, no, very good point. Yeah, hopefully he's calming down on top of that mountain, as I mentioned earlier. So you see Tranter and Miller getting very close still into T1. Line keeping a watching brief behind.
Yeah, Line may be taking some lessons from Miller last week, who just watched all the chaos unfold in front of him and then inherited the win.
Yeah, he did, yeah, but he can't afford to let Mark get away in front. You know that Mark's very opportunistic on the cold tyres, as we've already seen this race. And he's also a master at defending, so it's going to be some brave overtaking coming up if they're going to change the order. Look at the line there, just taking a slightly different line to Miller into the Degner 2. Can you do something into the hairpin?
This is what happened to Hankin.
Ooh.
Oof. So that's a replay into Degner 1 on lap 1.
Explains why he was in the pits then.
Yeah.
Big impact.
Yeah, looks
He
like
grabbed the grass. Goodbye.
a replay of Dixon, Winslade and the ledge. So coming down to 130R. Dixon getting back through.
And Winslade looking on the inside into the chicane and makes that roof stick. Very well done. But Dixon trying to get back, but apparently didn't.
And there's Bibby on cold tyres at the beginning of lap 2. Well done getting it stopped, letting the other cars through. And so here we go. So Dixon lost it. The ledge hit him, and then Jones.
We saw the aftermath of that, didn't we? So Jones completely didn't drop it himself like I thought initially. He just hit Dixon as he made his way through the second Degner.
Yeah. And that's Garlic getting through Burnett. These guys are all getting very close together now as they come onto the main straight.
Looks more like a kart race, never mind kart.
Yeah, this is awesome stuff. I love this. So Garlic on the outside, Burnett in the middle, and that's Richards going to the inside with 3 wide into T1. A long shot. Oh, that's... Which one's gone in the grass there?
It's gone off.
That was Garlic. Need a closer replay of that to understand what happened. All of that's allowed.
Sandwich, and it didn't work out for him.
No. Look at that. Richards just snuck through all of them. He's gained 2 places.
Winslade very opportunistic as well. He's going through the S's. It's 2 abreast and just chasing Richards. Now Burnett just ahead of Winslade, chasing Richards still. Winslade looking like he's got a very good exit and chasing the back of Burnett.
Yeah, and the S's are not corners where you'd expect cars to be trying to overtake.
I think what we're seeing here is a demonstration of how used to the skip barbers and how drivable they are for these drivers, and there's a piece of paper separating them. God. Burnett going on the outside into the hairpin.
Oh, contact there. There was contact between Richards and Burnett. I just saw Richards flying up in the air a bit, and Winslade snuck through.
Yeah, so that's Richards was up into P5 and then slipped back down to P7 with... well, I'm just looking down. Garlic's gone into the pit, so whatever happened to him when he ran off, clearly had an incident that's slowed him down too much, and now he's decided to pit after going into the gravel trap.
Look at Miller now going to the inside as they run to 130R. Can he get back into the lead here?
Yeah, he's made
Kelly.
it.
Very nice. We saw Kelly was definitely trying to shape up online as well. Just a reminder, these four are racing for the win right now, so a slight mistake or contact is going to cost them extremely badly.
Much better exit there. He came. Actually saw him pull back there, slightly slower line in, but a faster line out. Of course, now allowing him to get over. Perfect.
Well, it's amazing how much extra thought he's putting into that then to think sort of 2-3 corners ahead. And that's given him the lead of the race once again.
I think it's worth pointing out as well, Miller there setting the 225.2, and compare that to the qualifying times. We've got 225.5, just showing just how much faster you can go when you get a bit of heat in these tyres.
Yeah, good point. We've seen some very rapid times of like approaching the 223s even, I believe, from practice earlier in the week. Be interesting to see if the guys can do anything like that this race. Perhaps not when they're all so close together and fighting hard. And you can see, looking back, all the battling that the other four have done have dropped them 11 seconds off the lead now.
It's well spotted, yeah, and Bibby looks like he's closed right up on that battle as well after we saw him losing it earlier in the race, and now he's fought back up to 8th place to turn it into another four-way battle behind the top four. And we've got Winslade and Burnett now very close.
So we're on the one to Spoon at the moment. Multi-apex corner, taking it in 4th and then 3rd. Let's see what they can do coming out of here.
I thought Burnett was going to go for the overtake into Spoon, which traditionally wouldn't be an overtaking corner. It's more the exit you get, so you go down into 130R. And if you do take it flat out, then you've got a famous limit of adhesion curly straight.
So Burnett looking to the inside. Nothing happening that lap. So all drivers back out on track now after their various incidents and repairs. So we can see Paul Dixon running 9th, Jim Kimberley now up into 10th and in the points with his controller. That's amazing to see. Lawrence Aaron Jenkins 11th. Look at that now, Kelly in line side by side in T1. Kelly can't quite get through. So that line's going to hold on to it.
Amazing to see the different lines these drivers can take through the S's. Like you say, it's not an overtaking spot, but it looks like you can go completely different from your rival, hitting apexes and not lose too much time. So Kelly maintaining the pressure on line as Rob Miller and Mark Tranter ahead of them, just extending their gap slightly to about 2 seconds.
Yeah, this is great racing. So Garlick running 12th now with Hankin 13th and Jones 14th. There's
Richards.
Richards and Bibby coming out of Dunlop. This is down to Degner 1. Very nice from Bibby there.
Just tremendous.
So that's Hankin and
Garlic
Garlick.
almost stopping, yeah.
Did we just cut in from a previous incident, or yeah, I'd like to see what happened there.
I think that may have been letting him through in a lap count.
Oh, okay, yeah, good point.
Great to see the profile of Spoon there as we move out of it from this helicopter view. Is that Tranter?
Tranter and Miller.
Yeah. So We'll see 130R and Miller right on the tail of Tranter.
Look at that, Kelly.
Kelly's through.
Well done, Gavin Kelly, but line's not finished with him. They come up to the chicane. Kelly with the optimal line. Gets the job done. Kelly up to third place then.
I have to say the sequence from up at Spoon into the first corner looks like Miller's looking on Tranter again. He's just great. It's just long straights with hard braking zones, overtaking corners. Miller setting the fastest lap as well, but still no way through. Just one of the absolute magnificent parts of a racetrack where you just have so much speed and so much overtaking possibility and calm it down into the S's. I do love Suzuka.
Yeah, it's a brilliant track. So Dixon now in the pits, and that's Jim Kimberley being promoted up to 9th place, and Lawrence Aaron Jenkins now back in the points in 10th. And here we see Winslade and Burnett going at it again in 5th and 6th place.
Yeah, they seem to have extended a lead a little bit over the Bibby-Richards battle, which was happening behind them. Bibby, of course, taking Richards in that tremendous move into what we can see right now, into the first Degner. But doesn't seem to have made too much of an impact onto catching these two who are battling for 5th place.
Yeah, you had to wonder where, what can they do? What can they do about working together maybe to try and catch back up to that leading group, because they've lost an awful lot on pace fighting.
At this point in time, this is a very difficult point trying to recover a top 4 point. This is the one of the top, but get the points, get the 5th place, fight for that.
Well, of course, it could be sorry to cut you off. Yeah, it could be a repeat of what we saw last week, or a replay now. Just thinking where Batty and Keller hit each other, and one of those could be promoted into a podium place.
Wheel locking.
So James turned in just as Burnett was going through the corner, nowhere to go. I assume we're going to see he's had fairly terminal damage as he just touches the wall and gets towed. Replay now of Dixon. Where are we? Degner 1.
On the grass, can't brake.
I imagine that's a drive shaft failure at the rear there. Wow, on board with Winslade now, and there's that Burnett alongside us we just saw as we came through 130R. These two are going at it.
This is that sequence of corners I mentioned earlier, and now Burnett with a decent runoff down the start-finish straight and possibly could line up a move into the first corner. It's catching slowly, but he is catching.
Going to the outside now then, Will Burnett down to T1. And he's through with a great move. He gets to slow down for the second apex. Yes.
Winslade's still there when you go onto the off-board there, but just behind. But yeah, great racing, clean from both of them. You'd think it'd be the victory at stake rather than 5th place, but this is extremely close like we're seeing from those at the top. So the top 6 now just all having separate Noah's Ark type battles, separated by just under a second, all of them.
Yeah. So through the S's once again, down to Degner 1.
It's not an overtaking zone, surely.
Oh, it's hard.
Turning slightly too early there, Bennett.
Yeah.
Problem is the real difficulty about the skip is if you're used to driving a downforce car or even a GT, where you turn in, not where you think you turn in any other car that you've driven. Your frame of reference for this thing is very different. You're turning in a lot later in any case, carrying a lot more momentum slip into the corner than you're used to.
Thanks, Will. Good analysis there. And where are we then? Coming into Spoon once again. This is lap 9 of the race. And we're still looking at the Burnett-Winslade battle for 5th and 6th.
I suppose Winslade's not got really anywhere to overtake as soon as you get out of hairpin or, well, even into the S's really, and if you can't make a move into hairpin. But it's around this part of the track now where we see looks like Burnett going into the inside, but now Winslade switching over side by side through 1-4. They touched!
Yeah, there's a little bit of wheel to wheel there. So Burnett recovering out from way off track, but he was sent out there by Winslade's contact with the wheel. So he retains the 5th place. On board with Miller now, still trying to look for a way past Tranter. Less than half a second between this pair.
Amazed that Burnett and Winslade both managed to make the chicane there, because I thought there'd be wheel damage on either or both of their cars. But yeah, they seem to have been very lucky with the wheel-to-wheel contact to go on without any damage.
Yeah, I think the fact that it was face-to-face meant they could get away with something like that, but they've got to be careful if they want to survive this race.
Yeah, there was very low or very little delta V performance between the cars. Actually, they were moving at almost the same speed, so all it was really was like a wheel bash rather than an actual impact.
Thanks, Will. And that's Winslade ahead then into the chicane this time. So these guys swapping places once again. So let's take a run down the order then. As well, actually, no, let's just see what happens now, because Burnett has gone to the inside. But if you look in the background there, you can see William Bibby is starting to reel these pair in. And he's dropped Gary Richards, so you had to assume Gary may be struggling with some damage after that earlier contact with Burnett in the hairpin. So Burnett back up to 5th place then.
I'll tell you what, it's a tremendous recovery from Bibby after seeing, was he down in 13th or 12th place to get back up to 7th?
That's right, yeah.
5 seconds behind these pair, who was probably slowing each other down but providing some terrific entertainment. It's a really, really good recovery.
So here's our top 4 then, heading into the hairpin. The order once again is Mark Tranter from Rob Miller, from Gavin Kelly, David Lyme, Will Burnett in 5th, Winslade in 6th, Bibby in 7th, Richards is in 8th, 9th is Kimberley, and the Ledge is in 10th. Tony Hankin running 11th, James Garlick is 12th, Paul Dixon is 13th, and Gary Jones is 14th place at the moment.
It's really, really good racing here from these top 4, and Miller again just, what is it, 0.3 of a second behind as they exit Spoon. And if maybe these guys started on even colder tyres and gave Burnett, Winslade and co a bit of time to keep up with them in the first couple of laps, we might have a top 6, top 8 just all racing one another, because this is really close and really clean, really entertaining.
All 3 getting very close together as they can through 130R, and that's Kelly looking to the outside of 130R, which would be the inside of the chicane. No dice this lap. Oh, God, that was close to contact, wasn't it? Kelly nearly hitting the back of Miller's car.
That's put Kelly back into the clutches of Dave Lyne with that little slowdown, trying to avoid contact with Miller. So Lyne with an opportunity to get onto the podium.
Yeah, Lyne almost looked a little adrift as they came out of Spoon, but as you say, he's right back in this hunt again. So as we're starting lap 12, and only a couple of laps left to run in this race, still have to say any of these top 4 could win the race.
It's been quite different from last week in the sense that the top 4 are still the top 4 without any hitting each other and falling down the order. It could be a top 4 covered by 2 seconds as they cross the line at current rates.
I blame Batty. I think he's the catalyst for ultimate change in the top 5.
Destruction Derby.
I wonder how much these guys are thinking about their championships really as well. They'll, not so worried about a win, whereas you'd have to say someone like Burnett, Winslade or Bibby, if they'd have the opportunity for a win, they'll be being a lot more aggressive than these guys.
Well, you say that, but Tranter's in 9th place in the championship at the moment, so this could really kickstart his campaign. Of course, he lost so many points at Silverstone, didn't he, when he lost fuel on the first race? So
yeah, great point.
25 points now would be big win for him.
Look at Miller going
massive slide.
Wow, and again to the second apex. I guess we're so used to seeing Tranter winning in season 1. It's quite weird to think he hasn't actually picked up a win yet. But this is only round 5, like you say.
Well, it's got Kelly into 2nd place now, so Miller, those 2 slides have really slowed him down.
Kelly's lost it. Kelly's gone. Kelly into the barrier as he just got into 2nd place. What a disaster that is.
Well, how much damage has he got now? Can he run into... Oh, no, that's a damaged car, isn't it?
Yeah,
really
scampering for the pit lane. Sensible driving there from Kelly to stay off the track as much as possible. Not that he has to worry with the huge gap he had to P5 and P6. You see, Winslade is currently the P5 car.
Taking a cone in frustration.
Here we go then. Winslade and Burnett side by side down the main straight again. And Burnett is through. And this is the last lap of the race. Into T1.
Through for that much longer by the looks of it. Winslade going on the inside, but no, Burnett's managed to keep it there. I'm just thinking of the implications for the team championship now, with Stupid Aguri being so far ahead, and now no Batty this week, and Gavin dropping down to what now? It's 8th place. So the team's championship could really open up from this.
Yeah, it's a big shake-up. And a little bit of contact there. Look how sideways Burnett's had to go because of that. Winslade getting through.
It's last lap fury from these two now, isn't it? This is them going for it for 4th place.
Yeah.
I will say the car control we've seen on display throughout this entire race will be the next.
It's been pretty exemplary, hasn't it?
One entity.
So through the Degnan 2 for the last time, side by side to the hairpin.
Bibby rubbing his hands with glee watching them hit each other just a few seconds behind.
Yeah. And Burnett much better into the hairpin there, gets ahead of Winslade.
So this is all going to come down to the exit of Spoon, I'd say, just to see how they who has a better drive out of that. Winslade might be in an opportune position, not having to defend.
And this is now for P4, obviously, with Kelly's incident. So big points on offer here. Wow, Winslade trying to get out of the slipstream. No, he's back in it. Back out. Here on board the nose of his car. So we cut away to Mark Tranter winning the race then. Mark Tranter wins at Suzuka. So we cut back to this battle.
Yeah, Winslade right off the track.
Size fast in the chicane, and as we come out of the chicane to finish the race, can Burnett do anything about this?
It's going to be an inch. Winslade just takes it by
the closest
nothing.
finishes I've ever seen.
Wow, that was incredible.
Looking at the gap, it's plus 22.35 for both Winslade and Burnett. Amazing.
They were fighting hard. So there's Gary Richards coming over the line for 7th place.
Unfortunate race for the Williams team, and even more unfortunate for Stupid Aguri and Kelly limping it back in 8th.
Yeah.
It's unlucky for Kelly, but from what I saw, unless there's a replay to show me different, that's a mistake of his own making, trying to defend.
Yeah. But this is one I like to see. This is Jim Kimberley coming home for 2 points and his first race in the Skip Barber, and he brings it home in the points with a controller. What a fantastic drive he's just had.
Just avoid the incidents like all those ones behind him.
Yeah.
Maybe just so far behind he didn't have to avoid the incidents like the ledge we're seeing now. He had to, and Jones finishing last, but could have been much higher.
Exactly, yeah. So final race classification then, and it's the first win in the Skip Barber for Mark Tranter. Well done, Mark. Rob Miller comes home in second place with David Lyon on the podium for third. Winslade and Burnett come home fourth and fifth after their huge scrap. William Bibby coming back in sixth place. Good recovery drive he had. Richards in seventh place, and then Kelly in eighth. Kimberley ninth, and the Ledge in 10th. Tony Hankin, first of the non-points scorers this week. James Garlick coming home, he'll be fuming in 12th place. Dixon coming home 13th, and Gary Jones bringing up the rear in 14th place. As we look at the Drivers' Championship now, we can see Rob Miller consolidating his lead at the top, 87 points to Gavin Kelly's 68. Lyon remains in third place with James Garlick in fourth. Mark Tranter leaping up the order into P5 and 43, then Winslade 6th, 7th is Batty, 8th is Bibby, Richards in 9th and Dixon in 10th. The Ledge is in 11th and 12th is Gary Jones. Good old tussle we're seeing between those two. Burnett is at 13th, 14th is Hankin, 15th is Kimberley and 16th Hollick, still yet to score. Jim, talk us through the teams.
Yeah, well, it's like I said, it was a bit disappointing for Stupid Aguri, and Little and Large have really caught up now with 95 points. So, yeah, it's Rob Miller really pulling them forwards with that second place. Keith Chegra Memorial Team in third, 75 points, and Williams have dropped a position from third to fourth with 71. Dirty Legends now have 55 points and aren't really that far behind fourth place. Verge of Grip with that 25 points from Mark, and the return of Will Burnett doing well as well. 6th place, Lucky Bibs are in 7th, and the Alpha Blobby in their first race now have 8th place with 2 points.
He got there in the end, as we see some driver quotes from the race. Well, it was a fantastic race, wasn't it? And really delighted to see Mark getting up there.
Great for Verge of Grip.
Yeah, they did really well, and the Cheggers line happy to come away with a podium. Surprising actually, because he was our pre-season favourite, wasn't he? Expecting slightly more from him. Let's see what he can do next time out.
I'm still on the mark. On the David mark, especially David.
Yeah, but I mean, we just had to say Robinson emerging as our favourite. And as we look ahead,
really
then
strong season.
Yes, as we look ahead then to next week, we're at a classic British venue. It's Oulton Park up near Liverpool. Excited to see what happens there. It's a tough, technical, tight track, so we'll see what happens.
Quite different from Suzuka, eh?
Definitely.
Well, you can find more of my work on medium.com, where I write about F1, or on YouTube for my satire series The F1 Week That Was, or follow me on Instagram for a bit of both. Search for Jim on F1 on any of those.
Thanks, Jim. And you can find us at thelimitofadhesion.com. You can find us at the Limit of Adhesion Facebook group. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and you can find us on Discord at that link. Well, guys, what do you make of that race then?
Yeah, it was another great race, a good advert for Limit of Adhesion. It probably wasn't as spectacular as a Nürburgring, but I'd be very impressed if it managed to be. But yeah, it's shown the real skill of a lot of the drivers throughout the grid, and if the drivers didn't have any incidents in the opening laps, I'd love to see how close all of them could run.
Yeah, great to see. Fantastic race. Really looking forward to Oulton Park. Fantastic venue, even with the chains, which in my opinion ruin it. But again, that's just my hot take, isn't it? But yeah, awesome race. Great to see everyone progressing. Good to see Jim back, and again, good to see people in the points that they avoided the incident at the end.
It'll be interesting to see if real world experience counts for Mark Tranter when we get to Alton Park, because he's the only driver in the championship who's actually raced there in real life. So that'll be exciting to see, as well as his first win this time out. Maybe that's going to catapult his performances forward.
I'm really interested just with the drop in the points again with the format of this season as we had last season, that Tranter's a bit further down in the championship and Miller of course is in terrific, but when you drop some races at the end, I just wonder if Tranter's still going to be up there to defend his title.
Well, I hope so, yeah. Just got to wait and see what he can do when we get into the back half of the season. We've got more tracks coming up that were in the previous championship, like Lime Rock, Summit Point, Scuba, a slightly different layout, but yeah, be good to see what happens.
I think the really good thing, sorry, Will, I think the really good thing for this championship as well, compared to season 1, is it's not a 2-horse race now. It really could be any of 5 or 6 drivers.
Yeah, indeed, I was about to say exactly that point, actually, Jim. It's no longer a 2-horse race. I know by a kind of round 5, round 6 last season, definitely a Mark Tranter versus Gab Kelly, Nico Rosberg, Lewis Hamilton style battle. But yeah, it's good to see. At least I can think of maybe 4, maybe even 5 potential title contenders if they can put up a few more results. And again, we should be able to give the audience some more accurate standings when we get a bit further into, as Gareth said, back into the championship, maybe round 9, 10.
Yeah. Once again, we're still waiting to see that first Stephen Batty or James Garlick win. I'm still convinced that they're going to be coming later in the season, though.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. Could have multiple victors throughout the last half. Wouldn't be surprised if I have a different victor for every race in the last half of the championship, the final 6 races. But Alton Park first, and you say Tranter might have the advantage with actually having run there in real life. So advantage Tranter possibly, but we'll see what happens. As we've seen so far, anybody could win a race.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, guys, I want to thank you once again for joining me in the commentary box, and everyone out there for watching the Limit of Adhesion videos. And we will see you next time at Alton Park. Thanks very much. Goodbye.